All right, so yesterday we stopped at growth and we talked about what internal growth and external growth is. Can you give me a quick reminder of how I told you we could differentiate between internal and external growth? It's on your screen. You can use that to help you.
For internal growth, you have to use your own factors of production. And for external growth, you can use like other businesses' help and like their factors of production.
Yeah, okay. So that was just my trick of always learning the difference between internal and external growth. Let's look at the basic definition. Internal growth is also known as organic growth, by the way. It is also known as organic growth. Let's write that down as well. So how about you write it down as well, okay? So we write internal growth is also known as organic growth. It is when a business uses its own scale of operations Okay, now this could be done in several ways. This could be done by opening new branches. Like we discussed yesterday, that if there was a fast food restaurant in Dubai, they might want to open another branch in Qatar. They might want to open another one in um, Abu Dhabi. Um, this is internal growth, as in they're opening new branches. All right. Now, what is external growth? Now, we've gone over this. Um, yeah, external growth. Now, external growth involves, like we discussed before, growing through with the help of others, growing or expanding, right? Basically, the term integration, we need to understand this first. The term integration is one firm, it's when two businesses connect with each other. Okay, so it's an integration is when business A and business B they create a link between each other and they build a relationship. So they link and create a relationship, right? So that is what an integration is. Integration is when two businesses they basically join together. Now this integration could be done in two ways. External growth can be done in two ways. Okay, so Emily, do you have this written down? Did you write these down yesterday?
Yes, Max.
Okay, so I can move on. Do you understand the difference between internal and external growth? I can move on.
Yeah.
Okay, so now in our internal growth is it doesn't have many categories. It's only just that, you know, when you internal growth could be launching a new product line. So you could say that you're launching a new product line, you're opening new branches. For example, you are um a female fashion outlet. Now you've just introduced yourself into um children wear as well. So this is also internal growth. You're using your own money, your own employees, your own entrepreneurial skills to grow, right? You might have started a perfume line within your brand, right? So
Yeah.
this is internal growth, right? So Internal growth basically stops here. When we talk about external growth, however, when we talk about external growth is a little bit extensive. Okay. Okay. So external growth, like we discussed earlier, it's when we integrate with other firms, and form a relationship with them, a business relationship. So that they can help you grow your business. Now, external growth can be done in two ways. One, it can be done by your own choice. I mean, so it could either be a merge. So a business might merge with the other business. So this is when both parties have have an agreement, they're both happy and they're both happy about it. So always remember this as both parties are happy and they decide to join hands. So they join into an agreement with a discussion. This you could say that is a like a friendly approach where two businesses join hands together. So they're joining hands together. However, a takeover is a little bit different. Basically, in in public limited companies, what happens is that you can put your shares on the market and other investors, they can come and buy those. So right now I can go and buy Apple shares. Do you want to see how this is done? Let me show you how it's done. It's a bit, let me see if we can open that. At this point, Apple share is at 132.23 USD. It has declined today. The red sign that's going towards the bottom shows that it has decreased by $3.22. So what happens is that, and they've got so many over here. So what happens now, these large companies, there are different types of companies that you're going to study with me hopefully tomorrow. That's the next chapter. So there's one type of company which is called a public limited company. Let me write this down for you. Okay, do make notes. Okay. um yeah, can I write this down? So it's called a public limited company. And all these companies that you see in front of you right now, Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, HP, Sony, PDC, all these companies are public limited companies. Why are they called public limited companies? Is because there's something called shares. Do you know what shares are?
Not really, but I kind of.
Okay, so I'll just briefly explain. So shares are basically um so every company, let's say, what happens sometimes, these huge businesses, they don't have enough money. Okay, sometimes they want external investors. Sometimes they want other people to invest in their business, and in return the investors, they get money back. As in, so if the company makes profit, the investors also get profit in return. But if they make a loss, they also make a loss. So today, if I had Apple, so these investors, by the way, there's a name for them. These investors are called, do you know what they're called? People who buy shares in a companies?
Shareholders?
Yes, absolutely. I am the holder of the shares in your company. And because if I have shares in the company, I can say and share my opinion. And if I have only one share in the company, I don't have they won't listen to me, obviously, right? So now there is ownership. So you can own something 100%, right? For example, let's talk it in a general, easier way. Let's have a look at this. So, Emily, there was this dress that you and your friends um wanted to buy, but it was really expensive. So it cost a lot of money. So what you and your friend, just let's say your friend's name is Sarah, right? So let's say Emily wants to buy this dress that cost $10,000. Okay. I won't bring in a lot of numbers here. I'll just make it simple. So what happens is that what you're doing, because it's a lot of money, now one of your friends says, fine, let's buy this dress. And Sarah says, fine, I'll give you $5,000 for this. But uh give me a name. Megan, let's say, Megan says, I'll give $10. So when you guys buy the dress, Sarah has some ownership over your dress, right? Does she or does she not? She has 50% ownership of your dress, does she not?
He does.
Yes. So she has some ownership over your dress. But so when Sarah says that, hey, um, you can't give this for dry cleaning, you will have to listen to her because she is a part owner of your dress. But if Megan says, she says she has an opinion, she says, oh, I think the dress will look better if you cut the sleeves and make it sleeveless. You wouldn't listen to Megan, but you will listen more to Sarah. Why? Why do you think that is?
Because Sarah has more, like she invested more.
Exactly. She invested more, so she has a higher ownership in your company. Okay, sorry, higher ownership in your dress. Okay, and that's exactly how companies work, right? That's exactly how these companies work. If you have a look at this, where are we? So now, if I now what happens, these companies, they're not dumb enough to put all of their shares in the market. So what they, because they want investors, because they might need money to run this business, they cannot fund their company all the time. So if you've been thinking all this time that Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, they're rich companies and they've been funding themselves, no, that's not true. A lot of people have shares in this market. One of my teacher also has shares in the market. So this Apple shares. So there's a lot of people all over the world who can invest in these companies. So what these companies do, they want some money, but they don't put 100% of their shares, because if they do, they will lose their company. So what they do is they put a little percentage of their shares in the market. For instance, let's say if there was a company that put 50%, or let's say 60% of shares in the market, okay, and I have bought, that's me, okay, I have bought 20% of the shares in the of these 60. So how much is left? 40. right? Then Emily comes and buys, and she says she goes and buys 30% in the market, 30% of Apple shares, right? So you and I, we're both shareholders of this company. Do you get the concept of shareholders?
Yeah.
Now, what happens if companies, this happened to Facebook, by the way, this happened to WhatsApp, by the way. So, what happens over here is if these companies put a larger percentage of their shares in the market, for example, let's say they put 80%, and there's one guy who comes and buys more than 50% of your shares. Let's say he bought 51% of your shares. So you had put 80% out, you still have 20% to yourself. You're not giving it to anybody else. You're like, no, I'm keeping the 20%, but everybody around the world, they can come and buy a little bit of mine. Okay. But then there's this one guy who's really rich, and he's like, fine, you put 80%, I'll come and buy 50%, the other people can buy the rest of it. Do you know what happens? My, I, who had only 20%, I only had 20%. Then Steve Jobs comes. Steve Jobs comes and he says, I'll buy 50% of your company. I was the original owner, but now Steve Jobs took 50% of my company. What am I left with? I only have 20% of the ownership. This guy came and said, I'll come and buy half your company. Now who has the ownership?
Steve.
Exactly. So what this is called a takeover. This is how a takeover is different from a merger. If Steve came to me and he said, hey, Maheen, I really like your company. You're doing so well in it. Let's join both of our companies. So I joined my company, which is, let's say, Orange. And Steve Jobs came and said, okay, fine. Let's say he had Apple. Okay. So um, we both join together and we make another company, and we make one company as a whole, right? So we had a discussion, we had a friendly discussion, and we merged. We had a collaboration, we discussed and we merged. But what happens in a takeover is that Steve doesn't discuss it with me, but instead he goes and he outbuys my ownership. And now he has 50%, 51% of ownership. So anything above 50% is obviously their ownership, because he now has more than half of the ownership. That means I have a lesser say in my company. Do you get the difference?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's have a look at the definition. It says a takeover, also known as an acquisition, is when one business buys out the owner of another business. Okay. I won't use the rest of the complicated. Let's write this down. So when one business Okay, this is what a takeover is. So they come and they buy more than 50% of the shares. There we go. That's the difference between a merger and takeover. Do you get it?
Yes, miss.
I want you to write this down. I want you to um, answer this question. I'll write this over here. And then you can read it out to me. Don't make it too long. Here, let's say it's for 5 marks.
Also, myths, these can happen in not only between two companies, it can be even more, right?
Yes, it can be, but the thing is, you see, only one company can actually take over, right? So, like I just said, if a company buys more than 50% of shares, two companies can't do that, right? There's only one company that can do that. Do you
Yeah,
get it? Right?
yeah.
So there's only one company that can merge or take over with you. When it's a lot of companies, it turns into something else. I'll tell you that. Okay. So we're going to do that in the next chapter. We've got joint ventures,
Okay.
we've got strategic alliances. Okay. This is A level stuff. I won't confuse you, but joint ventures you can do with me, but we'll do that in the next chapter. So merge takeover only with one companies.
Okay, Miss. Miss,
Yes.
the only thing I wrote was a merger is when two companies or two parties happily join together through an agreement.
Mm-hmm.
while a takeover is when a business buys out the other business with more than 50% of their shares.
Absolutely, this is perfect. So when you define merger, you don't have to write happily. That was just for me to explain. Because usually what happens, students do not understand the difference between a merge and takeover. They get confused. So that is what um a lot of times takeovers are with agreements as well. So yes, they buy out the shares, but the previous company has no say in the um not sometimes not at all, sometimes not a lot. So yes, merge is when they happily buy out, but that is just and it's more like a collaboration and an agreement. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so now we're done with half of the part of external growth. Now there are four different types of external growths or integrations. Let's have a look at those. There are four types. Or integration. Now, one of them could be, for example, do you know um, the three sectors of a business? Do you know what business sectors are?
The primary, secondary, and tertiary.
Yes, exactly, absolutely. So, primary sector is mostly the sector which comes, which includes the raw materials, the natural resources, um, the environment, for example, coal, trees, um things like your basically your natural resources. So let's write that down. Natural. Then comes your secondary sector. um what happens in the secondary sector? Have any idea?
It's the manufacturing stage.
Exactly. So it is basically the manufacturing. So it has, all these constructions and production. You could say that they are basically the ones that use the resources from the primary sector, and they produce. So, for example, um, we this could be mostly the factories, right? So let's say we took wheat crops from the farm in the primary sector, and we in our factory, what we did was we worked on using a machinery, and we manufactured and made flour. You get it? Manufacturing,
Yeah.
production. You could call it any names, all right? Then finally comes your final sector. Remember what that one is called?
Tertiary.
Absolutely, yes. Your tertiary sector, also known as your,
The service one.
yes, also known as your service sector. What happens in the service sector is obviously they provide service. So everything that was made in the secondary sector, you start selling those over here. So you sell, okay? Um, it's an intangible kind of a service, let's say. You cannot touch it, but you have to provide a service. For example, this could be um, teaching. This could be at a restaurant. This could be an airline service. It could be customer service. It could be a car showroom, right? Can you give me an example? One for each. So once you've written this down, I want you to give me an example for primary, secondary, and tertiary.
Okay. Yes, I'm done writing.
Okay, what did you write for primary?
I wrote farming.
Okay. Farming.
Then for secondary, I have to write more than one or just one?
It's okay if you can think of more, go ahead.
There's also like fishing and
Mm-hmm.
mining.
Okay. Yep,
Yeah.
I got that. What else for secondary?
Is it like their car manufacturing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That's all I could think for secondary.
no worries.
And then for tertiary, there's teachers, doctors, and
Mm-hmm.
hairdressers.
Perfect. Now we know the difference between these three. Now, what happens in growth and different types of external growth? I'll just show you that now. External growth. Now, the very first one is called horizontal growth. Horizontal growth is really, really simple. Two companies that are in the same sector at the same level of production, they merge or they take over whatever it is that they're doing, they work and they join hands. Okay. So what happens is that businesses at the same level of production or sectors merge or take over or join together whatever it is that they're doing. For example, primary, there's a primary sector business, merges or take over with primary business, or could be a secondary business. It merges or takes over with a secondary business, or a tertiary business, merges or takes over with a tertiary business. Let's take an example. Okay, for example, um, there's a school. It has decided to merge and join with another school. Okay. Um, there is a farm. Let's say it's a poultry farm. It has decided to join hands with another farm that was near the town. So they also joined together. This is horizontal growth. What happens? Business at the same level of production, the same sector, primary to primary, secondary to secondary, tertiary to tertiary. Do you get it?
Yes, miss.
Give me an example for it.
1 minute, let me think.
Anything.
Miss, can it be like two food outlets that can merge together?
Sorry.
Like two food outlets that could merge together?
Oh, to food house?
No, two food outlets.
Food outlets, absolutely yes. We can have two food outlets. So let's say a restaurant. Why is it not purple? Not purple. Okay, never mind. A restaurant. Let's say McDonald's and KFC. Same food outlet, same fast food business.
Yeah,
So it works. Yes.
yeah,
McDonald's and KFC. Same level of production working together. Horizontal growth. Right? Now, what is vertical growth? Now, there are two types of vertical growths. This can be forward. Oh, it can be backward. So the best way to understand this again is we write our sectors again. So we have primary, then comes the secondary, then comes the tertiary sector. When we talk about vertical forward, integration, a business which was in the primary sector, it merges or takes over and it moves forward. So what happens, for example, let's say, um, 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 let's say there is a farm, and let's say it's a animal poultry farm. If this is a cow, by the way, so let's okay. Um, they, they've got horses, they've got cows, so they've got all types of animals, and they're using their skin and leather. Okay, okay, and
yeah.
they are using, and then there's this company that produces or manufactures car seats or any kind of chairs, let's say. So let's say let's not go down to car seats. Let's say they manufacture using that skin and leather, they manufacture handbags. Okay. So we have that sorted out. We've got a company that is producing handbags using. So for this company, let's call it the bags company. Okay, this company, initially this company was there, and they had a supplier. Now, obviously they need some supplies to produce this, right? And they were working with company A, and this company A was providing them with leather, right? So what happens is that company A becomes rich, and they're like, you know what? Instead of just providing leather, how about I also start producing handbags? So what happens? They talk to their customer, who is these people, bags company. They're like, hey, listen, I want to produce bags. Let's merge. So company A, which was supplying handbags to the bags company, they moved forward. In the start, they were a primary company, and now they have moved forward and they've taken over a secondary company. What does this mean? This is a vertical forward integration. Do you get it? They're moving
Yeah.
a step forward in their level of production. So what happens in vertical forward? It basically goes forward in the level of production. This is what happens in vertical forward. Okay. Now let's say this company, let's talk about the final company. Now this company, there is this brand called Emily Handbags. They only sell, they have an outlet at a mall, and they only sell these handbags. Okay. So they're only selling these handbags. They're not producing, they're only buying from this guy, and they're only selling this. They're not producing it themselves. Okay. So
Yeah.
this guy, this company, the bags company that was producing, they're like, hey, not only am I going to produce bags now, I also want to sell them myself. So what the bags company did, they said, hey, listen, I want to sell bags as well. So what they did was they joined together, they had a discussion, and this company merges with Emily Handbags. And now they're also producing handbags, and they're also selling handbags. This is how they move forwards from primary to secondary, secondary to tertiary. Do you get it?
Yeah. Miss, but can since you're only saying primary to secondary, can it also be like primary to tertiary directly or no?
You can't exactly do that, right? Because you have skin leather. Yes, if you're a company that only sells skin leather to people, then yes, directly to primary or tertiary. But it really doesn't work that way, right? You have to do something with that leather. You must add value, remember? You must add value to the product. And you only add value during the secondary sector part. You
Miss,
can do that in the tertiary.
how about like for example, like an egg farm, like you can just directly give it to the tertiary sector, right? Like to sell it in
Yes,
their outlet.
absolutely. Yes. Yes.
It could work.
Yes. That's definitely it. You can definitely do that. Right. But that's that's only in the case when we really don't need the secondary sector. But yes, you can move forward directly to tertiary sector. So either you just, you know how they say fresh off the farms. But the thing is, Emily, you see, you get these eggs, but you have to package them, don't you? You have to put them in a safe box and everything, right? So at
Yeah.
that point, you're doing the secondary part. That
Okay.
there you're adding value by, cleaning those eggs. You must clean the eggs. Then you have to put them in a good packaging, safe packaging, and then take it to the outlets. There you go. You've got secondary there,
Okay.
right? So um, whenever you move forward, it's called a vertical forward. Now, and if you go completely in the opposite direction, so you start going backwards. For example, I have it's your company, Emily Handbags, and you decided, so you are at a shop, this is your own shop at the mall, it's called Emily Handbags, and you're buying your supplies from the handbag shop. What you do is you're like, hey, you know what? Buying from this guy is a little bit expensive. Why don't I just buy his whole company? That way, it'll be much easier for me. So, what you're doing, you're going backwards now. So, I'll give you a different example. Let's say, for example, a car showroom is which sector? Primary, secondary, or tertiary?
Tertiary.
Tertiary sector. What this company has done now, they're like, hey, we're selling cars directly. How about we start producing them? So what they do is they merge or take over with a car manufacturer. What is a car manufacturer? It's a secondary
Second.
sector. So what happens here is this is a backward integration. Do you get it?
Yeah.
Let's have a look at the definition. Okay. Um, how about you read the definition to me out loud? Horizontal, vertical, and yeah, just stop there. Horizontal and vertical.
Horizontal. Miss, on the side, you're asking?
Yes, yes, this one, these ones.
The one in yellow, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. Horizontal integration is when one firm merges with or takes over another one in the same industry or in the same stage of production.
Yeah,
And vertical integration is when one firm merges with or takes over another one in the same industry but a different stage of production. It can be either forward or backward.
exactly. Right? Do you get it now? You see, this is how they've given us examples here as well. So a tractor manufacturer takes over or merges with another tractor manufacturer. That is what a horizontal integration. Then again, vertical merge, vertical forward, vertical backward. We just discussed those. So car manufacturer with car manufacturer is horizontal. So I'll give you a few, let's do conglomerate and then I'll give you a few of them. Um, I haven't run out of time, have I? No, I haven't, not yet. Okay, so the final one can be, this one is a little bit, when you're feeling a bit spontaneous, um, this can be at any level of production. Have a look at this. This one is a little bit exciting one. Is when one firm merges with or takes over in a firm in a completely different industry. It's also known as diversification, right? So you would be shocked and surprised to know that a, a conglomerate is a diversification. A company which merges or takes over with another company which is completely different. For example, a clothing manufacturer takes over or merges with an ice cream parlor. Completely different. You
Yeah.
cannot even imagine, can you, right? Did you know? Did you know McDonald's? Do you know what McDonald's actual business is? What this business was?
No.
Can you guess? Do you want to guess?
For ice cream?
McDonald's, when you hear the word McDonald's, you think about their food, don't you? The fast food. Do you think about McDonald's, the fast food company?
Yeah.
This company is originally a real estate company. Do you know what a real estate is?
Yeah.
They have lands, they sell buildings, they make houses. McDonald's is actually a real estate, not a fast food. That is just their side business. This is a complete and a major example of a conglomerate. It's diversification. If you think about it, McDonald's, the food, is in which sector?
Tertiary.
This is tertiary. And making buildings and houses, which sector is this?
It's also tertiary, right?
No, they're making it.
Oh, secondary.
Secondary. Completely different level of production,
Yeah.
completely different sector, absolutely different. You cannot even imagine them working together. So when companies, they merge or take over with other companies which are completely different at a different level of production, a different uh, level, these companies grow in this growth is called conglomerate or diversification. This is the better word. This we usually use in our answer analysis, but this growth is called conglomerate. Good, are we clear?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Now, how about you, in a single line, you could either define for me what these are, or what you could do is, in a single line, give me an example of horizontal growth. You gave me one for horizontal. Give me an example for vertical forward, vertical backward, and a conglomerate. You can make it up. Doesn't have to be a real one.
Mm,
Okay.
okay.
Are you done?
1 second. I'm just writing one more for conglomerate.
Okay. All right.
Miss, for conglomerate, can it be in the same level of production, or it has to be different?
It has to be different.
Okay. Then
Yes.
for vertical forward, I wrote like in the secondary sector, like they can like fillet a fish and like supply it to a sushi restaurant.
Vertical forward. Fishing to a sushi restaurant. Um, okay. The restaurant also makes, so yes, fine.
Uh, for backward, I wrote ice cream manufacturer merges or buys milk farm.
Yeah, perfect.
And for conglomerate, I'm not sure, but like I wrote car manufacturing, like merges with a cafe.
Yeah, that's perfect. This is fine.
Okay.
Perfect. Okay, so Emily, dude, have you downloaded Google Classroom?
Miss, I can use the online one, right? Like the one on Google.
You can use it online as well. You can just go on Google Chrome and write Google Classroom, log into your Gmail account that you gave me. If you could do that right now, let's sort this out. You don't have a class after this, do you?
No.
Perfect. So just open that and see, I've just sent you a request.
Miss, I joined it.
You joined it, perfect. So
Yeah.
have a look at this. Yeah, you're here, perfect. So have a look at this. I'll just show you how it works, okay? So you must have seen Facebook, right? So what happens here is that, here I can post any announcements, something like So your stream, if you look at this is your stream. This part at the bottom, just annotate for you as well. This part, this is your stream. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Here, basically, if I post any announcements, for example, just making an announcement right now, tomorrow, let's say Saturday, um, what is the date? Saturday, 24th, 24th December, pop quiz. This is a real announcement, by the way. Pop quiz. I'm just gonna take like a 5-10 minute quiz on um external growth or internal growth. Okay, so growth, on growth. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll give you a list of different types of scenarios that might be happening. So there'll be like 5-6 growth scenarios. Let's say I might be writing over there that a bakery opens a new branch in the town. What kind of a growth is it? You tell me.
Wait, can you say that again? Sorry.
Okay, so there is a restaurant. It's opening a new branch in the town. What kind of a growth is it?
A vertical forward.
It's opening a new branch. Think about it. Is it using
Or
his own money?
horizontal, right?
It is.
Is it horizontal?
Okay, look at it this way. Is it using his own money to open a new branch, or is he asking another guy to join him?
He's using his own.
So what happens when
So
we
it's
use our own
internal
factors of
growth.
production? It's a
Internal growth.
Exactly. See, first thing whenever I ask you, or whenever you see a growth question, always look at the scenario. The first thing, remember this as a checklist. First thing you have to see, is it using his own factors of production, or is he taking somebody else's factors of production? Once you've classified whether it's an internal growth or an external growth, after that, you move on. If you find out that it's an internal growth, we're sorted there. If it's external, you figure out it's an external growth, then you think about whether it's horizontal, vertical, or a conglomerate. Okay. So the step one is always identifying whether it's an internal growth or an external growth. All right.
Okay.
Okay. And this is how I'm going to ask you, take a pop quiz tomorrow. 5 questions, 5 scenarios. And you're going to have to just tell me whether it's internal and external. Are we clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so it'll be a pop quiz on the topic growth, and I'm posting it right now. So stream is like posting statuses. You can even ask me a question during the week when, because right now I'm not able to connect with you on WhatsApp, right? So you can even write on the stream over here. I've given you access to this. You can just write, Miss, I've joined the class. Miss, are we having a class? Miss, is the class cancelled? Whatever it is you want to ask me, you can write it here. I can post my announcements here. Stream is over here. It's like a status thing that's going up and down. Then comes your classwork. Everything that we do in class. So there were today's class notes. Let's say I'm posting today's class notes. I will post that as material. So what I'll do, today's notes, I'll just upload it right now in front of you so that you can even revise. So this is your business growth notes that I just wrote on the screen today. And there will be different sections on this. So this was Unit 1, Chapter 3, and it's going in the notes. Whenever you feel like, you have a quiz and you have to revise, you simply go to the classwork section, you go to the class notes, you click on the notes, and here are all your notes over here. Everything that we did in class today, it's all over here. So you can just have a look at this. You can have a quick revision of everything that we did before the quiz. All right.
Oh,
And apart from that, here are your assignments. I gave you a value added assignment last week. it was a case study thing, you didn't receive it, but now you can do this during the week. Okay, so I'll take it next week, Thursday. Okay, so
Okay.
there's that. Then I also gave you another assignment. Now you've got another quiz. So what I'll do is, um your assignments will be something like, whenever you click on your assignment, it'll mine is a little different. For you, it's going to give you an option to submit your work. See if you can find it. So what you'll do is, you'll just simply, it's better if you download Google Classroom on your phone, so you can just take a picture on your phone, and you can upload your homework, and you can click on submit, and I'll receive your homework.
Okay.
Okay. um just explore around a little bit. Okay, and I'm going to post your quiz over here as well. So I'll post your quiz here tomorrow, and you'll submit your quiz to me over here. Okay,
Oh,
so I don't you just explore around a little bit, you'll figure it out. All right.
okay, Miss.
All right, so I shall see you tomorrow with a quick quiz. We'll start off the class with a quiz. It won't be a difficult one. If you want to practice, you can do activity 3.5 and use these as your help, because I'm going to give you a similar thing. Okay?
Okay.
It'll be a similar thing, and it'll be easy for you to understand. I'll give you similar questions like this, and tomorrow we'll do these, or we'll start the new chapter, whatever is convenient or whatever you want. All right.
Okay.
All right, any questions?
No, Miss. Thank you.
Perfect, no worries. See you tomorrow. Bye.
See you. Bye.